All right, so this is going to be episode 1 of Balance, the premier collegiate gaming podcast. Definitely not because it's the only one. I'm going to be your host, Jason, former UCLA Esports League of Legends coach. Joining me are my co-hosts, Albert, also former UCLA Esports League of Legends coach, and my other co-host, if you haven't noticed the trend yet, Lawrence, former UCLA Esports statistician. Now, this is going to be, just so everyone gets the premise, this is going to be pure, unadulterated, high-quality gaming industry content. With the ever so generous support of Bruin Gaming, hopefully we'll be able to leverage that Bruin brand to get some of the high-profile guests on the show. You know, Chris Metzen, Mark Merrill, if you're listening, call me. And unlike other collegiate gaming content, not naming any names, we don't ask trick questions on this show. It's just pure high quality content.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Just based on the introduction, it really does feel like this is a revenge because everyone here is a former person. And you're all just out here to murder me.
Sonny, I think the best way to say it is this is actually just our retirement home. We're all kind of just chilling here.
Yeah, this is a retirement home.
Yeah, Sonny. I mean, you're the former UCLA Esports president.
That's true.
What can I say? We're all
okay. I mean, everyone already knows this, but now I guess. But introducing our guest, Sonny, current UCLA, current emphasis on current, by the way, UCLA Esports founder. Because unlike the rest of us, being a founder, you have a lot more job security.
Yeah. We all know that's how it works.
You can't ever stop being a founder.
That's true. Yeah. But you can always be the first. And you'll only be the first.
Exactly. See, Sonny was actually the 5 head out of all of us.
Yeah, Sonny then the true genius. All you have to do is found something.
Well, I mean, I'll just say this right off the bat: it probably wouldn't have been that successful if you guys weren't a part of it. So credits to you guys.
Yeah, but it wouldn't exist if you weren't there. So
this is true.
We've already had this exact interaction on Twitter 3 days ago.
I mean, I think I like to think that if I didn't do it, someone else would have. And honestly, it's just it's been fun and rewarding to see all the people that come through the doors of UCLA Esports and Bruin Gaming, seeing them grow, seeing them thrive, watching the kiddos now as I step away, watching them continue to take these things to new heights. It's just been so rewarding and a little sad, but mostly just really happy that they're, making it bigger than you even could have yourself. So it's been
when you say it like that, it sounds like you're leaving, but actually you're like fucking 8th year student at UCLA. So
I mean, I do want to congratulate you because we all know here that Sonny is finally graduating. Good job, Sonny.
For the record,
you still work at UCLA, so you're just like a 7th year now at this point.
Honestly,
You just don't take classes.
Yeah. No, let me set the record straight for all of those listeners. I was incoming class of 2013 at UCLA, majoring in pre-business economics, and things went wrong real quickly, and I think I took a combined 2 years off. Just for personal reasons. It was just, kind of like a personal part of my life that I really struggle with. But then I came back after 2 combined years. Came back, finished off my degree in sociology, and graduated fall 2019, right before pandemic. And so I actually got to write my final exams in person and had in-person lectures and stuff. And so I got out just before the disaster. Yeah, just before the disaster. Took me 6 years to finish college, whatever. Everyone goes at their own pace. What's up, Brian? But just setting the record straight out there. It's not like I was a bad student or anything, I promise.
I mean, honestly, at that point, you should have just stayed for another 3 years because I think they give special honors for 10-year students.
10-year students. I think UCLA actually has, believe it or not, and I learned this. From counseling, from academic counseling. There's actually a maximum limit time.
really? Oh,
you get
because like they have like a credit limit, right?
Not just that, it's just like you have a maximum amount of time that you have to graduate in. Like you can't actually be like a 10-year student because like they just
Okay.
won't let you back into UCLA at that point. So
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was under the impression that like after your 10th year you finally graduate, Gene Block like personally gives you a $10 reimbursement for like so thank you for all the money that you've been giving us for the past 10 years.
oh my god,
Dude, you make $1 back per year. That's value.
It's pretty
money well
good.
spent. It's an investment. Education's an investment. Who told you it wasn't that true? But yeah, I mean, enough about me. I feel like we're here for a reason. And we have our topic set, so we might as well get on with it, right? I'm sure most of this will be edited out.
Every topic is you, Sonny.
I'm
Honestly,
sure
this is
most of this
true.
will be edited out.
I
'Cause this
mean,
is like
Nah, this is pure. This is what the people want to hear.
yeah, we want to hear the backstory of Sunny and why he has the boomer role on Bruin GG. You know, there's a
I'm
reason.
old. I'm old.
I have that role.
Okay, you have that role because only you're newly graduated. Okay. I mean, all graduates get it, but Sunny
I mean-
really deserves that role. Okay, that's the difference. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
that's
there.
fair.
It's like the
I almost caught
MCU,
up
you
to
know.
Sonny.
It's like the MCU, you know, like Captain America, you know, Incredible Hulk. Like those are the OG stories. They're not very good, but you got to watch them, right? Because everyone needs to watch them because that's the origin story.
Sure.
Yep.
Speaking of origin story, just to get into the first topic. So, you know, everyone knows UCLA Esports. Some people know esports at UCLA, but you know, if we want to go really way back, you know, to live many lives, you know, as a great man once said, to live many lives, you got to die many deaths. And there's this one death that was very spectacular, and that was Augment.
Oh my god.
So, Sunny, you want to talk about the past and how you actually got started with gaming
Yeah,
at UCLA
yeah,
and
I
all that
mean,
kind of stuff?
yeah.
This is before the me, Jason, and Albert. So Sonny is really the only one who can actually speak on this.
This was like 2014, 2015, like whole 5 years ago at this
Super
point.
boomer.
Yeah, pretty long time ago. Basically, in my third year. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When I first came to UCLA, there was a League of Legends club, and it was just kind of starting up. Actually, it was pretty established. They had a couple of people who were really popping. The club was actually super active. Shoutouts to Dana. I can't remember her last name, but I just know she was just like a legacy name at that time, and she was just doing so much for the League of Legends club. There's some other people too that I'm forgetting, but League of Legends club was super popular. StarCraft 2 club had just died. That was funny. So I came to UCLA and StarCraft 2 died, and so that wasn't a club that existed. But League of Legends club was like the only like real gaming club, and Smash. Smash was also a thing, but I wasn't really aware of them until much later on. They were pretty small at the time, I think. Yeah, so that was that was 2013 when I first came to UCLA. That was kind of like what it was all about. It was kind of small, kind of like really close knit, and so I didn't really feel like I fit in at all. And so I would just kind of chill and do my own thing, hang out with my friends that I met at UCLA, play a lot of League of Legends. I think I went from like Gold 2 to like Diamond 2 in the span of like a year at UCLA because I didn't have my mom telling me that I wasn't allowed to play League of Legends anymore. But yeah, so that's the beginning of the gaming clubs. And then 2015 comes along. And just feel free to like interrupt me if this is just rambling because this is a lot of history. 2015 rolls around, and there's a club founded called Augment, founded by crap, I'm just forgetting names now. A guy named Alex. I think his name was Alex.
It's okay. I always say that if you don't remember their name, then they're probably not worth remembering.
That's not true. I mean, Alex right now he works at Blizzard Hearthstone. He works in the esports team at Hearthstone, and he's part of like the big pro scene there.
Dead can.
But he founded Augment. He founded Augment just kind of like as a I think it was kind of like in the vein of what UCI was doing with Tag. So they had Tag, TAG, the Association of UCI Gamers, TAG, and they were like a super big club at the time, led by, I think right now it was like the disgraced Jesse Wang.
My God.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Seriously though, fuck that guy. But I mean, the rumor was, and this was a widely circulated rumor at the time, it was just like Jesse Wang got to UCI and immediately drops $4K into the account in the club account just from his own money.
What?
Just drops 4K
Wow.
into it. Yeah, because he's comes from a affluent family, let's say. So I mean, like, money begets money. That is an age-old wisdom. But yeah, I mean, tag was like super massive at the time, and so I think Augment was founded as like a way to kind of like emulate their success, because UCLA definitely did not have a gaming club at that time. The UCLA League of Legends club had died the following year in 2014 because I won't name drop, but the new president just supposedly did not do anything. And so the club just died, and then that was like the death of all gaming clubs. Like no other club existed, and that's when Augment came around 2015, along with the League of Legends club Revive.
Oops.
Yeah.
And so Augment was fine in its first year, pretty nominal success. And then the guy who founded it, Alex, graduated to move on to TESPA full time, and now he works at Blizzard. But a new president named Rai Kim came in 2016, and I wasn't even supposed to be a part of Augment at all. I was kind of like didn't care, because I just wanted to play League of Legends, and I wanted to grind League of Legends, and I wanted to play on the collegiate team. That's all I really cared about at that time. And so Rai Kim came in, and I know a lot of people like to disagree with her leadership style and all that, and I won't say it was really easy to work with her at all. But she was a woman in a scene that didn't respect or in any way kind of like give credit to women, and she worked her ass off. Like, I'll give her that. Like, she was the one doing everything, and that's why I think a part of a lot of criticism came in, because she didn't really trust other people or delegate to other people, in my opinion, because she had a whole team of people, but she just never utilized them. But yeah, I mean, if there was anything that Rai was, it was a hard worker. But I mean, under the club, it just wasn't great. I joined, and this is a weird story. So I had a friend named Lee Fawn, who was the sponsorship manager at the time. I don't know. Have you guys hung out with Lee Fawn before?
No, I haven't. But
Yep.
I know Lawrence has. Lawrence has Lee Fawn stories. Lee Fawn.
I remember you telling us about this a bit, Sunny, in terms of like how you got roped into doing stuff. I mean, yeah, like what I think, what I'm hearing is basically we just didn't have those $4,000 in the bank account, and that's the real one.
That's true. We did not have $4,000 to start off.
Dude, $4,000 would go such a long way.
It would.
In like any gaming club whatsoever, because like at -60 we're doing pretty well already,
Honestly, and also consider this like back in like 2014, like the real boomer eras of gaming, where like $4,000 is like actually like a player's salary, So like you're kind of talking big money out here.
No one can deny $4,000 was a significant amount, and you know what? That's why Tag was successful, because and it really quickly wasn't successful because it got a little too big and a little too ambitious. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, so Lee Fawn was the sponsorship manager of Augment at the time, and she was going on vacation for summer, and she wouldn't be able to fulfill her duties because Augment was like, they were trying to do stuff over the summer to set up the next school year. And so Lee Fawn was like, "Oh, do you mind like helping me out like a little bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll just step in and like do a little bit of. I've never done this before, but I'll try my best, and I'll hold down the fort until you come back."
That's a red flag, right there.
and so I took on the role of sponsorship manager. Didn't really do much at all because I was, again, really not sure what I was doing. Shout outs to Rudy Delgado. This guy taught me a lot about collegiate sponsorship and how that shit works. Rudy, he used to be at iBuy Power, and that was a company that we used to work with back in the day. And he was like one of the first people to really come out of collegiate and really excel in a later career. And he's doing his own like contract work and stuff now. He's like doing pretty well for himself. But yeah, shout out to Rudy Delgado. That guy taught me a lot about sponsorship and contract negotiations. Otherwise, I'd be completely useless. And I was for that first like summer. And then Lee Fawn came back from summer vacation. And then I was like, here's your rollback. Like, it's fall, everything's starting up. I didn't really do much, but here's your rollback. And then Lee Fawn told me, Rai told me that you were the new sponsorship manager and that I wasn't needed anymore. And I was like, what I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I literally just didn't do anything. But I guess Rai liked me enough. Again, Leafon was amazing. Leafon locked down like sponsorships in Sawtell, like for the club, like $2,000 like sponsorships from restaurants plus discounts for all members at the restaurant. I think she got what was Novelty before it was called Novelty. I can't even remember. But like she got a bunch of really popular Sawtell restaurants. She was good at her job. I did nothing. And then what ended up happening was we didn't even fulfill our contractual obligations to these restaurants. And to this day, I like get scared going back to those places because like I'm worried that they were gonna recognize us. But rest in peace, Quality, because Quality was one of them, and now they're out of business.
F.
Not because of us. Not because of us.
Not. I don't think you made a difference.
No, I don't think it was because of us.
I know Quality is closed, and it like changed ownership a bunch of times. I think my first year, but like at the beginning of my first year, they had this late night menu, and they had these like tri-tip fries, and they were so good.
Oh my god!
And then they switched owners in the middle, and it like I went one time to get like boba and like the late night like fries and whatever, and it says like closed after 8, and I was like, no.
Dude, Quality was doing everything right. They were doing the boba really well. They had like amazing like kind of fusion Korean American snacks that were just amazing. And then they changed ownership, and then everything was bad overnight. I feel really bad for Quality. They were supposed to be there was so much potential. But
low-key sounds like a parallel to Augment in a sense.
No, we don't.
So what it sounds like, Sunny, is basically you just got to use an extremely obscure metaphor. You got Singapored, where you just got a role forced upon you. For those that don't know, Singapore got independence unwillingly. Sunny got his job unwillingly. So
I've been Singapored so much.
Good job, Lawrence.
That from now on. I'm using that from now on.
How many times? Twice.
How many times have you been to Singapore?
Okay, so you've been to Singapore twice. Nice.
Yeah.
Was one of the times when you had to be the NVIDIA ambassador while I was working Wonderland?
No, that makes it 3.
Okay, that's the 3rd time. All right, we'll talk about it a bit later, I'm assuming.
Yep.
But yeah, so now I'm the new sponsorship manager.
Real reason why Sunny on the show.
Yeah.
He's paying back debts.
True.
But yeah, so now I'm the sponsorship manager for Augment, and I'm like, well, if I'm here, I might as well try and do something. And so I brought in a lot of my friends. So a lot of my friends saw me doing this club thing, and they were like, wow, I want to be involved too. And so I brought in Anya, who is a fantastic. I don't know where she is at right now. I haven't talked to her in a while, but she's great. She did a lot of the graphic design work for a lot of my early projects, and so she came into Augment and rebranded it, and everything looks so good. She rebranded everything. She redid the logo. She got rid of the really nasty. Okay, I'm sorry, Justin, the person who designed the logo for Augment back in the day, but like that shit just did not fly. It just did not fly. It was cute, but it didn't work. It looked like a mouse. But she got rid of the logo that they drew. And she brought in a huge, like a nice, really clean kind of aesthetic into Augment, and that was just so like super, super amazing. And then I ran my first Augment event, which was it was just super boring because I didn't really brand it, but basically I solo ran it. I worked with UCLA to get the room, and I'd like worked with a bunch of the companies, iBuyPower. At the time, and a bunch of other people, and Scepter, shout out to Scepter as well, to set up the big like LAN party. I think we had like 190 something people come out. It was really fun. Filled the room, really, really, really exciting, and it was like the one and only truly successful large Augment event, I believe.
Is that the only? Is that the first LAN at UCLA?
Yes, it was. I don't know if it was the first LAN. It definitely wasn't the first LAN, but it was the first one, I believe, where it was like where it was in like they got sponsors. We brought like iBuyPower PCs out, which was like top of the line at the time. We did tournaments. We did like a stage setup. We had sponsorship booth. Like that was, I think, the first time that it was done to a scale where like people were actually coming out. So like in my freshman year, League of Legends had like this internal League of Legends tournament. and they rented out Ackerman Ballroom. You know that massive ballroom?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, they rented it out. A freaking Rockin was in that tournament. I remember this. Rockin's team was in the finals of that tournament. No shit, Rockin's a challenger player. For all those who don't know, Rockin currently streams for TL. He's like a sub for TL Academy mid lane. He played like semi-pro. He's good, and he played pro in Brazil. Actually, he was CBLOL level in Brazil. But yeah, he had himself a career. He's streaming now, and he has his own clothing line. But regardless, Rockin was in the finals of that tournament. I think Stunt was in the tournament. I can't remember. A bunch of other people were in it. But they rented out Ballroom. They had Riot sponsorships, and so like the first like 100 people to show up got Arcade Heck Room, which is really cool. I think 5 people showed up to that event. 5, like for the whole day. So Ackerman Ballroom was just so empty. I came early just to get Arcade Heck Room with my friends because I wanted Arcade Heck Room. We got there. There was no line. The event was maybe an hour in. I picked up Arcade Heck Room. I sat in the front stage. I watched like half of a game, and then my friends and I just left. So I think I genuinely believe that first LAN was the first LAN that people actually engaged in. And I think a large part of that was because it was held on the hill. And so I know, one of the things that a lot of the clubs grapple with at UCLA is getting people out of the dorm rooms and going to campus oftentimes at night to like go to events and stuff. Yeah, we all know it's a struggle.
Yeah, for those that aren't aware, UCLA is a campus, which I have been very, very adamant about, is very, very geographically challenged, as in, or topologically challenging.
Challenging. Yeah.
Yes, it is literally on 2 sides of a valley where you have a hill on one side, hill on other side. You go uphill both ways to school. It's a kind of stupid, not gonna lie. Like,
and
you literally won't have to not climb stairs.
We do get to complain about walking uphill both ways to and from class.
Yeah, this is also why students don't leave the hill, because they don't want to walk uphill the other way. Like, if you're not going to class, you kind of hate leaving.
Yeah, it's
rough.
For sure. But yeah, so like,
everyone's calf chonky.
Yeah, you get some sweet leg workouts for sure. But yeah, so that was the first LAN event that we did ever at UCLA that I think actually had a lot of people come out. I think, and then after that, I don't know, just like over time, working with Riot was difficult. And again, not knocking her. I mean, she was the first one to actually go to Rec to talk about putting esports into their program. And I heard that she was laughed out of the office. And that's just disgusting. And I'm glad that we have new people in charge at Rec, but I felt really bad for her. But yeah, she was just difficult to work with. I mean, personally for me, I just struggled. And over time, it just got to the point where I just wasn't having fun anymore. It was like really stressful. And so I left Augment around January of 2016, I'm guessing. And all my friends left with me. And so Augment like immediately was missing maybe a third of the staff that actually made it successful to begin with, I think. And it just slowly died out over the course of the rest of the year. I feel really bad again because I didn't ask my friends to leave, but I guess it kind of makes sense that they would.
All right, so we finally have it on the record. Sunny Yen is the death. Is the cause of death of Augment.
I did not intend to be, but I think
this man right here, we got him.
We got him. We have confirmed the cause of death of Augment. It is here. Goodness. At Sunny, yeah.
I mean,
we're just actually PIs hired by Rai.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But the good thing is we get to talk about the part of the story where all 3 of us do come in, which is with esports at UCLA. I believe that's the next part
now.
Yeah. So for a whole year, there was no gaming club on campus. Like, it was just dead. Nothing happened on campus. Everyone was sorry, one sec. Yeah, everyone was just kind of just kind of doing nothing. And there was no gaming club. No one tried to start anything, which was still very surprising. But I'm sure, given the vacuum, if I hadn't done anything, someone else would have. But kind of going back to how badly I wanted to play collegiate, like I wanted to be the best mid laner at UCLA. The fact of the matter, I simply wasn't. There was another guy named Skillshots Fired. His IGN was Skillshots Fired, and he was his name was Sufan, and he was the best mid laner at UCLA at the time, like hands down. He was like a high diamond mid laner, like diamond 1. He played Yasuo. He played Ahri. I think mostly it was Lux Ahri. Sorry.
Best player at the university.
Yeah, actually, it was really cool. Riot did a promotion where they put where they would actually take the highest ranked player from the collegiate team, and they would make like a little they made like a little ad placement for him. So like some of the bus stops at UCLA, you could see it. And Sufan at the time, he was playing support in solo queue, and he was like a master tier, high almost challenger support player. And he got a really cool Braum banner with like his IGN, like kind of like in game where you have the IGN over the character, and it was just said the best player at this university. And
didn't Riot also make like an esports video for like collegiate esports back in the day?
And you can still check that out on YouTube. I think it was back when they put a lot of like investment into ULOL all the time, which is University League of Legends or collegiate league, which is now called CLOL. But back then, they would actually go out to the campuses and film, like kind of like intro hype videos about the teams. And yeah, if you want to look that up, I think you can just Google like UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA. It's the first thing.
Riot. Yeah. And shout outs to that roster. I only really talked to Daphne on that roster because she was a friend at the time. And she still is.
What was that like organization? Like how was teams organized back then?
Dude, there was like, zero organization. It was friends. That's the best way I can describe it. It was just like five friends that just wanted to play collegiate. I think Stunt was part of that roster too. Stuntopoulos, former 100 Thieves support player, recently released, unfortunately. But at that time when he was at UCLA, he was part of that roster. He played jungle for that roster, and they had 5me, Anthony Hong. Was Anthony Hong on that roster at the time? Shoot, I can't remember.
I think so.
But they had What's Wrong in the Jungle. Oh no. Stunt was actually not on that roster at that time. But they had What's Wrong in the Jungle. They had Daphne as support. They had a guy named Light Sludge at AD carry. Light Sludge, for those who don't know, and this is going really deep into the annals of League of Legends like history. Light Sludge was on a team with Pope. Yeah, was on a team with Pope Belter called Meat Playground back in like season 2, 3.
Season 2.
Yeah, and he was like 14 at the time. Well, Pope was also like 14 or 15. And they played Moscow 5 in a tournament, and Moscow 5 cracked on them. It wasn't even close. But Light Sludge was that good. He was like a challenger, master tier ADC. But he came to UCLA and he kind of wanted to leave that part of his life behind him. I think he just didn't enjoy League of Legends as much, or something like that. But the roster was good, and I think that was why I wanted to start esports so bad. Was because our rosters were all like back in those days. Our rosters was the best in the nation, like period. Like at one point, our roster was part of. Shouts to Chris Okamura as well. He founded Call Gaming a couple of like back in those days and picked up the UCLA team. But the UCLA team was like top 5 in like ranked 5s ladder back when that existed, and they actually qualified for expansion tournament. So if you can YouTube this as well. If you want to watch the VOD, if you just YouTube Call Gaming versus Team Coast, like there's a VOD of the UCLA team playing Team Coast in the expansion tournament for LCS. They got crushed. It wasn't close. But again, like our teams were good. Like these were like high challenger master tier players who some of them go on to be like pro players. Like it was just like our team was good. And then even after Rockin and Stunt left to go pro, we still had like Light Sludge. We still had 5me, who was a good friend, Anthony Hong, the top laner, who also played. He's also like a challenger top laner. He plays. I don't know if he still does, but he played like amateur, and he played amateur pro with a bunch of other teams in the scene. We had Light Sludge and 5me. We had like our teams were good, you know, like these were like high master tier players. But the problem was no one knew about them. Like no one ever heard about their existence. No one knew that like what they were doing. And to me, at that time, I was just like, it's such a shame, that no one knows who these people are. And so that's kind of like the primary like motivation of esports at UCLA. And you think about it now, and it's like such a narrow viewpoint, if that makes sense. Because it's like all I wanted to do was to give these players recognition and give them structure. But like now, collegiate esports is like people are like looking at it like an NCAA thing. Like you're looking at like conferences, scholarships. But at that time, all I really wanted was to give players like a home. Like a place where they could like have a coach, do VOD review, treat it like an actual team activity, practice, reach their potential, be written about. So that was part of the whole esports at UCLA website at the time, like articles, stats, all that kind of stuff. Like I just wanted to bring that kind of experience to these guys and hopefully give them a bit of that. Yeah,
and so they can call themselves esports at UCLA instead of find Anthony a girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know, that's another inside joke, but yeah, the team literally in ULOL at the time was called Find Anthony a Girlfriend, the top laner.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's just like a running joke. But
funny, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe there's two things that we can say is that esports at UCLA was one of the first structures for some kind of esports in like at UCLA for sure. Ironic, I know.
Oh yeah.
And then the name, but like second is that I think we can also say that was also one of the best rosters UCLA had. We made it to playoffs, right? For one of those rosters, like actually.
Talking 2016.
The very first roster of esports at UCLA was not good for League of Legends, at least.
Yeah. So
So what happened was
that was the one I subbed in.
Yeah, there was no. This was even before that. There was one team that wanted for esports at UCLA, the very first League of Legends roster ever. I think it was X Counter Strike. So it's Curtis top lane. It was Mac Chandra Hassan in the jungle, Black Shiny.
Yeah, that was the one I subbed in.
No, but this is even before you, I think. And there was I think it was oh no, it wasn't even Mac. It was X Counter Strike, and you should talk to Curtis. You should bring Curtis on. He can talk more about this because my memory is kind of hazy. But it was Curtis in the top lane. There was a guy named Nawase Wakibo in the jungle. He was like a D2 Nidalee one trick. And he was we'll say this, he's an aggressive jungler who doesn't really communicate well. So he would like go for a solo invade when no one had prio and then die solo in the jungle. And we lost a lot of games that way, but he was good mechanically. Now I was saying Wakibo was in jungle. God, I even remember who our mid laner was. Oh, it was Chris Zhu. It was Zhu. Zhu was the mid laner. No one here. I don't know if you guys know who Zhu is. He was a roommate. Good guy.
Chris Zhu. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Zhu. Yeah.
That guy, the one he keeps.
He went on to
Yeah, back in like the day, the guy was like a high diamond Zed player. But I think at that point, like I think he was D5. Austin Chuan was AD carry, best Lucian in Africa. And support was at first Sufan, skill shot inspired. But then what happened was he left the team because he wanted to focus on school. And so we picked up a Bard one trick, a D4 Bard one trick, to fill in for him very last minute. Because ULOL only allows one team from each school to play. And none of the players from those friends teams that I mentioned before wanted to join esports at UCLA because they didn't want to be serious. They wanted to like be just a bunch of buddies playing League of Legends and trolling around and having fun.
Found it.
and that was fine.
I found our 2017 CLOL roster.
Oh
yeah. But I mean, and that was totally fine, you know. Like they just wanted to have fun.
Yeah, I mean the 2017 CLOL roster did make it to playoffs, I think. Yeah, according to what I'm looking at.
They did. They made it to playoffs. They got crushed by UCI. They beat their first opponent, and then they lost to UCI in straight sets the next round.
That's called unlucky seeding, right there.
Yeah. Back then UCI was really good.
2 challengers, a master, and 2 D1s.
Yeah, that roster was fucking good. What happened was they basically they set up a friendly best of 3 tournament against our esports at UCLA team to decide who would play. And we lost. We just lost. It was close. Austin tried his best. Curtis tried his best, but it was just wasn't close because they had insanely good players. But yeah, so what ended up happening was they went on to play CLOL or ULOL, and they lost to UCI. And I kind of didn't have a League of Legends team at the time. So what ended up happening was I just kind of delayed esports at UCLA until a bit later. But yeah, that was the very, very first roster that I ever put together at UCLA for League of Legends. And it just didn't work out. Because I was primarily a League of Legends player. So that's why I kind of focused on League of Legends. And then the next year was when you guys came in. The next year was when I really started taking it seriously. So this was around maybe winter quarter of the year before. But next year, starting in September of that school year, the next school year, was when I started taking things seriously.
Yeah, and over the summer you were doing all the recruiting, and that's where
we were doing a lot of
soliciting
recruiting.
the youngins.
Yeah, doing a lot of recruiting. We were doing a lot of design. Anya, again, shouts to Anya. Holy cow, woman is a workhorse.
So for the record, I think we're 3 years into the story, and the 3 other people in this call have finally come into the show.
This is the level of boomer we're looking at.
I'm 24.
He has lived through an entire generation of students.
Yes.
Yeah, but
it's been a journey.
We're finally coming in, guys. So this is where I think we have all the other teams that are besides League, all the other esports teams that we're also looking at.
And this is the first time.
Yeah, Sunny has lived many lives and died many lives.
Yeah,
true.
This is true.
The very first staff of esports that you said, the first person to ever be brought on were Harsha Bandy and Anya Lee. Anya Lee was the designer. She did everything, all the graphics. She did website design, and she did it for free, which was insane. But Anya is amazing, and none of this would exist without her. And Harsha was my assistant director at the time, and he was also on the Overwatch team. Harsha, for those who don't know, is currently the head coach of the Houston Outlaws in Overwatch League. He actually dropped out of college to go coach the San Francisco Shock. I was his roommate at the time in fall. And he just left because he wanted to coach San Francisco Shock. And I was like, bro, do you. And so he left really early on, which left me with no one to kind of step in. And so it was just kind of me and Anya kind of grinding it out and managing everything. And the website's dead, by the way, so you can't check it out. But it was esportsucla.com. Or UCLA Esports. No, it was UCLAesports.com. Oh, Jason, you're kind of roboting.
Oh, big oof.
Big oof. Unfortunate.
Post-recording. It's all good.
Yeah, you can just edit it out. Yeah, so that was the first time where we were taking things seriously. We couldn't call ourselves UCLA Esports because we were not officially representations of UCLA in collegiate esports, so we were not allowed to call ourselves that for licensing purposes. And so, but we were allowed to call ourselves esports with the freaking email @ at UCLA, and that was our branding. So I paid for the website, I paid for the jersey, the first round of jerseys. I still have all the first jerseys. I only bought 7 because I didn't expect all the teams to want their own. But I bought 7 for events, and I paid for printing, anything that I could do to make, to make the club happen. I did, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. Jason, you came in as a coach because we met at a League of Legends club meeting, right?
No, we met at the Enormous Activities Fair.
Oh, you're right.
Because I came with William and Junwei, because we all lived on the same floor, which is really funny. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I remember meeting you, and you're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Well, I mean, no, you're right. You applied online, so basically everything was online because we didn't have a facility. We have a facility now, but go ahead.
You're thinking of me. I'm the one who had to come find you at the first League of Legends meeting and say, by the way, you hired me a month ago. What am I supposed to be doing?
Yes. So everything was online for esports at UCLA at the time. Like we had no facility. I had no plans to do anything in person because I just didn't have the space.
We
Or I
barely
just didn't even
knew
think
who
about it.
anyone else
I
working in
literally,
the org
yeah,
was.
I hired people over summer, or I didn't hire them. I brought them on over summer as team managers, as coaches, as writers, as reporters, as editors, all that kind of stuff. And also,
I
that's how
didn't know who
Ashley
to.
came in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I swear I didn't know the other two of you guys until like esports at UCLA, like the season was over, and I was like, oh wait, you guys work at esports at UCLA too? What?
Oh yeah, you're that one guy that talked in Slack a lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, whoa. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
also used Slack at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, terrible mistake.
yeah,
Horrible
I
mistake.
swear, like,
now.
I had a very like suspicious like opinion of like Sunny when I first met him because I was like approached him also at EAF and I was just like this like nervous freshman. I was just like, yeah, I'll do anything to help with esports. You know, I'm bad at League. I'm a gold 4. I'm hard stuck. You know, just I'll do anything to help out. And then the first mention Sunny is like, we need a junior varsity coach. Can you help out? I'm like, I was like, gold 4? Are you serious? You okay?
This is like an
You must
this is
be
like a
truly
I did
desperate to come to me
not
for
say
help.
that. I
this is
did
like
not.
this is like an intern at like an investment banking firm, and they're like, "Yo, you want to be the CEO?"
Yeah,
Like
and
the,
I'm just
the vice president.
and I
Oh,
remember
subsidiary.
yeah, I remember telling Sunny as like, hey, I'm not good at the game, but I'll do my best to like help out like in an analyst role. Don't call me coach, you know, because I don't think I can be a coach. So I ended up hopping on the bus, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah,
I
look at
suppose.
you now. Now you're a former coach. You've made
Now
Former
it.
you're a
coach.
former
Former
coach.
coach.
You made it.
Really,
Oh
really
my
great
God.
evolution there, honestly.
He's gone through the life cycle.
Yeah, but I mean, now things are a lot different, right, Sunny? With like actually sponsored by UCLA and that kind of stuff. With
Yeah.
UCLA Esports. So, like, yeah, I mean, what really has changed the most, do you think, in your opinion?
The facility, dude. I didn't think that would ever happen. To be honest, when I went into esports at UCLA, I didn't really. I went into kind of like, oh shoot, wait. Can we edit this part out 1 sec? Because I need to let Lily into the apartment.
Wow.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We're keeping this in.
Oh
No,
my
this
goodness.
Definitely in.
No. Okay, I'll be right back. I got Lily in. 1 sec. I'll talk. I'll be right back.
So, what we're hearing is we have to occupy like 2 minutes of time Sunny needs to do to let
Yeah,
someone back into part.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
So, yeah, guys, we're finally in the story. We've shown up after 3 years. It's great.
3 years. Sunny has been monologuing for like the past 30 minutes.
Basically, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Sunny's life story is a very up and down, shall we say. Yeah.
Yeah.
To use a math analogy, it's a sine wave.
Jesus
So-
fucking Christ.
Wow.
I know there's 2 math majors in this call.
This
Come on,
is
guys. Come on.
Definitely getting cut
That was-
now.
That was the worst joke I've ever heard.
Terrible.
It is completely terrible. I'm sorry. I will
So
not
as
make
soon as the North Campus major leaves, you're like, oh, I feel safe. I can make a math joke now.
Okay. Yeah, I love how we are all in agreement that sociology is a North Campus major, though. It is not STEM. Do not get me wrong.
It's not a real major.
So
This is
wait,
also true.
wait. Soch isn't even one of the ones that would be classified as STEM. That was BusyCon.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
Econ and BusyCon that got reclassified, and then like that was slightly controversial a couple years
Yeah.
ago. But
I think it's still very controversial.
yeah, you're right.
If someone says in business econ, they come to me and they're like, "Yeah, we're South Campus STEM majors," I'd be like, "Yeah, no, definitely not."
That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
Haha. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, because like recruiting, it was all online. Like I don't even know how I saw it. It was probably on Facebook or something that someone shared to me and was like, "Oh, hey, esports is recruiting, like looking for staff." Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on I think it was the new class of 2021 UCLA Facebook group, and then Sunny just randomly made a post. I think he was looking for players too for the League of Legends team. I don't think he was looking for anything else. And I was like, "Yo, can I be an analyst or something?" Like, I know that's not what you're asking for, but and he's just like, let me get back to you on that. And then I got added to the to the group me where with like the other coaches and stuff. and they were like, "Yo, what's up?" And then that was pretty much my only interactions with the coaches. I think the coaches were like Anthony, 5MI, and I forgot the other guy, but I think they were supposed to be the varsity and JV coaches. And then after that, after that summer, I don't think I ever spoke to them ever again because they just fucking disappeared.
Yeah, I think they completely dipped off the face of the earth, which is why I think Sunny was so desperate.
Yeah.
By the time that
and,
it came
and,
along.
and it was just basically like, I guess Jason's the de facto coach now. And it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
and then on the other hand, because I was a statistician, right? So I wasn't even technically in an analyst role, and I didn't work on League. So like there was no communication with me and anyone else in the org for like the longest time.
it was just you and
also,
Sunny.
It was literally me and Sunny, and every time I messaged Sunny, he was sick for some reason. Like, this is fall quarter 2017, but like this dude just had a cold the entire time. I swear.
Unfortunate. Perpetual illness.
Yeah, and then I had nothing to do for like so of course I had nothing to do for the quarter, and then I got moved off of Dota and onto Here's the Storm, and that's where I actually like got put into communication, like received match reports and whatever, so I can actually do something.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think
we actually had quite a bit of teams, I believe, on esports at UCLA, which we can talk about more when Sunny gets back. But we had a lot of teams.
Yeah, there were quite a few teams.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things you do notice.
There were what, like 4 league teams though?
Yeah, 4 league teams.
Were there?
You know?
Holy shit!
Or like there was at least 3 at one point.
It was
but...
okay. It was we had varsity, we had JV with like 40 billion subs, and at some point those subs all like comprise another team, and I don't know if there was another one below that, but yeah.
All I remember is
I only interacted with the good JV players. Shots fired.
Wow, shots fired. All right, welcome back, Sunny.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. So we were just talking about like how there was a lot of teams at esports at UCLA, especially for League.
I also wanted to talk about how fucking Anthony dipped in like the beginning of the year, and then it was just like, "Hey, Jason, you're basically the de facto coach now," and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Was this Anthony Hong?
Yeah, that was Anthony Hong.
Yeah.
That was when he went pro, right, or semi-pro?
He would try to get to scouting grounds.
Yeah.
Also, he just wasn't comfortable being a coach. I don't think he didn't want the role. And so I try my best to kind of like juggle things around, or he could just leave. Yeah. But yeah, it was a struggle.
Yeah, I think that's the main. I think that's the main issue though, because like, if you want like a really really good team, then like what's the incentive for the players to actually play on the collegiate if they're good enough to get pro, right? Because I think that's the main issue with, for instance, in the case of Anthony and like a lot of the other good players.
I think a lot of players kind of look at collegiate as like an opportunity. It's not necessarily a path to pro right now, so much as it's like either a pit stop or like I don't really want to go pro, but I want to do something. Or almost like well, maybe I could use this as a chance to get into a pretty good university. So right now, UCLA PSA, we're not at the point where we can just offer scholarships to people and have them come onto the team, no problem. You know, to be at UCLA Esports, you have to be a student at UCLA, so you need to get it on your own terms, on your own merit, and then you can try out for the team from there. But we have had pros, even some people who are still currently pro, reach out to us asking us if we would offer a scholarship or if we can get them into the university or otherwise, like, you know, be a part of the program, simply because they kind of either see it as like, oh, my career is coming to an end, or like I don't really want to keep playing pro, so I want to go back to school, I want to learn something, I want to like be a part of something else, or they're kind of just kind of looking to keep playing, you know, in some way. They want to be at the highest level and they want to go to a good school. And UCLA, again, an amazing school.
Basically, moral of the story, Mike Young's washed up and he wanted to go to UCLA.
Oh my.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, I think No, he's doing fine now. Like he's doing great.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's like just like looking at the collegiate demographics though, because you look at all the teams, right?
Sure.
It's either pretty much like you can divide it into two different groups, right? The hobbyists and then like the retirement home people, right? It's like former pros. Like you look at UCI, you look at like Maryville, and then Harrisburg, I think.
Well, I wouldn't say that's true actually, because Maryville is kind of branding themselves as a path to pro school. Everyone on that team is good, you know, that like, and even in the amateur pro sense, they have Kind, they have I don't know if they have Julian anymore, but they have Kind, they have Niles, considered by many to be one of the top amateur top laners in League of Legends NA right now. They have the Wolf's Claw. For those who don't know, he used to bounce around in amateur pro/pro, and he played in several qualifications for LCS. But now that's franchising. Obviously, things are very different. The Wolf's Claw's a little old. He's definitely not like a rookie or a young student or anything. But they have Value, they have Shady. Like their team is good. Like even on an amateur pro level, they are quite easily the best team in North America in collegiate, like by far. Simply because they recruit and they scholarship, and they actually like get players to come to Maryville. And Maryville University sees that as a win, because let's be completely honest, who's ever heard of Maryville until now? You know?
That is true. I mean, it's pretty good optics in a sense for Maryville, where you can have a lot of people like publicly actually like perceive Maryville, actually like know it's a thing, and then you have people pay attention to that school and see, oh,
exactly.
If I want to do esports, maybe I can go here, that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of colleges think of collegiate esports that way. They kind of see it as like a recruiting tool, not necessarily like for their team, but more so like come to our college. And that's not a bad thing. Like all these colleges, they need to make money to survive. Like another case in point, Harrisburg. No one, like I didn't, like no shame to Harrisburg, but they're a really new school, like brand new school out in the East Coast, and they needed something to kind of get there, to kind of let people know that they exist. And so Harrisburg's university program, it's run by history teacher, former pro, former coach, former team manager of Team 8? Yeah, it was Team 8.
Team 8, yeah. And then
yeah, it was
former
Team 8.
Potential TSM support.
Yeah, and he's a director of Harrisburg right now. And Harrisburg, they hired Xpecial. He's the head coach of League of Legends, Xpecial right now at Harrisburg. They hired another guy, Joe Meister? Joe Meister from Owl. He used to be a support for one of the Owl teams. And they hired him they hired him from Philly Fusion to be their Overwatch coach. So like Harrisburg is another school out there just making moves. Like they're trying to build a very respected esports program as a differentiator. Also because collegiate esports is not very well established, so it's very easy for a lot of new schools to put themselves at the front, because other schools just aren't taking it seriously. And B, it's a lot cheaper to get into collegiate esports than get into NCAA Division 1 athletics, which is where the money is. Like we all know that if you want to be a top basketball program at Div 1 in the United States, you have to freaking build an arena. You got to hire like a bunch of trainers and specialists, psychologists, team chefs. You got to hire like the best coaches, legendary coaches that can recruit the best teams for you. Like this is millions and millions and millions of dollars that you're investing. And for collegiate esports, you could build an arena, a training arena for like what, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, and then like hire a bunch of like pros or former pros who are just happy to keep working in esports, or to kind of like be the coaches, and suddenly you have a top esports program in the United States. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like this is a way that these colleges are differentiating themselves from the rest.
Yeah.
Or you can get slave labor from the rest of us.
Yeah, but this is also why I really believe that these colleges will soon be really quickly forgotten when collegiate esports becomes bigger. Like, unless these guys continue to be at the top, I just don't see them surviving much longer. Simply because if a university like UCLA steps in, and we're offering scholarships, we're recruiting, we have training facilities already, like we're sponsored, we're fully decked out and everything we need to be a top program, and on top of that, we're UCLA. Then if you're an aspiring collegiate or even a pro player, and you need to pick between Maryville and UCLA, where are you going?
Yeah.
You know, like the decision is obvious.
No offense
right?
to Maryville, but
no,
yeah.
again, no offense to Maryville, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If a school like UCLA, Berkeley is stepping in, if a school like friggin' Arizona State steps in, because anyone in the Pac-12 is like a very profitable athletics program, on top of being a very respected school, right? And so this is what I mean by they're jumping ahead now, but everyone's catching up. It's just going to happen no matter what, just simply because of the quality of the school, the legacy of the school, the marketability of the school, but also just the fact that if you had to pick between Maryville or Harrisburg or UCLA, Berkeley, like where were you going to go? Let's be completely frank here, right? And so, yeah, that's just my opinion on what they're doing. Is just they're just trying to get ahead while they can and put themselves on the map, but it's just not sustainable for them in the long run.
And sort of speaking off of UCLA Esports, right? How did like that conversation with the administrators go? Because you mentioned that initially when previously in Augment they tried to do it, they got like laughed out of the office.
Yeah.
But obviously we have a program now, and I'm curious on how that pitch sort of went.
Sonny just DM'd Gene Block on Twitter. So yo, what's up? What's up? Let's get some
how did that go?
here.
How did that happen?
Well, first off, I will say we actually got to meet Gene Block to talk about esports, and that was so fun because he's just a nice guy and he seems like he's really supportive of what we're doing. That being said, he's obviously really busy, so he's doing his own thing and worrying about other stuff. But yeah, I mean the conversation went very well, which I think is attributed to new leadership in Rec, people that actually like kind of see what's going on and kind of understand it peripherally, and kind of see the value in doing something that engages students. Because at the end of the day, like, what's your rec program for, right? It's to engage students. And if you're not doing that to the best of your abilities, then you're not doing your job. And so gaming was this whole thing that no rec program ever has considered to be a part of their engagement of students. But it is. I mean, what we are doing is it's very recreational. I talked to Brian Smith for the first time, the associate director of UCLA Recreation, kind of by accident. So what happened was, and this is going to be a very familiar name for a lot of people in collegiate esports, Garvey from Twitch. He's really high up there in Twitch. He helped broker the deal between Amazon and Twitch, I think, back in the day. Like he was a big part of that deal. And he's like been a massive proponent and supporter of collegiate esports from the very beginning. And he contacted UCLA to talk about the possibility of Twitch and UCLA entering into some kind of like agreement or something where UCLA would use Twitch as like a vehicle for instruction or for all that kind of stuff. For like for example, for recreation, it'd be like they're doing Zumba classes or yoga classes through Twitch online. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. So no one knew COVID was happening. But yeah, so 3 or 4 years ago they came, and I think Mick DeLuca, who was vice chancellor at UCLA for Campus Life, he kind of knew about what we were doing, like what esports at UCLA was kind of doing, and Twitch kind of comes from that world of gaming. So there's like anyone could put 2 and 2 together and be like, well, maybe we should have the students come in and kind of offer their perspective on what's going on. So I got an email asking me to come meet with them, with Garvey and Brian in John Wooden Center. And at this time I had an assistant director named Matthew Shao, who is also a really, really good friend. And he and I went in and we talked to Garvey and we talked to Brian and Mick, and there's another guy named Aaron there who is also a director of UCLA Recreation. And it was just Garvey giving his well-practiced marketing spiel of like, Twitch is super educational. you're empowering students to explore new things like marketing or STEM or digital production. You can even involve like your media school. UCLA has a really famous film, television, acting school, Hollywood school, basically, because being in the heart of LA, super well respected. There's so many things that you can do with Twitch, and I think that sold them immediately. They were just super excited about empowering students, involving students, and basically right there at that very first meeting, Brian Smith was like, "We want you guys in club sports. Esports should join in club sports." And with that, it was just like a flurry of activity because we were not like most other club sports that join club sports. A lot of the club sports that join club sports are kind of start on like a low tier, like you have to work your way up to get funding from the school. And so, like for example, I don't know, just throwing an example out there, like
Ninjutsu.
Ninja. So along with esports, a couple of other club sports made it for the first time, and then one of them was ninjutsu, and the other was roller hockey, like
What the fuck?
not ice hockey, but roller hockey. And those clubs started at the very lowest tier. They were like, you get no funding, you have to do everything on your own, but you get to use the UCLA name, you get the access to the Under Armour deal, rest in peace, to get
Fuck ass.
to get discounts on official UA UCLA gear. You get support from Rec in terms of like getting space to practice and all that kind of stuff. But I think from the very beginning, esports was very different than anything that they had already experienced. I think they saw the potential of it from the very beginning, and they kind of like treated us very differently in that way. Yeah, and so we kind of just went with it. We were immediately working incredibly close with Brian from the beginning, migrating everything over to the club sports site, managing partnerships and sponsorships. He hired me part-time to do esports at UCLA, just as a director, and so that was incredibly gratifying. We did Pac E for the first time, which I hope to do again. And for those who don't know, Pac E was like a Pac-12 invitational tournament at UCLA. We flew out the top 4 finishers to UCLA to play in a best of 5. UCLA made top 4. It was really cool. We had like 40 people come out to watch.
And then we got bodied by ASU.
And then we got bodied by Arizona State University. Yeah.
This is
the story of our lives, right? Just getting bodied by other schools.
But mostly ASU.
But ASU a lot of it's like, ASU or UCI.
It's disproportionately ASU.
That particular year, ASU was definitely our nemesis. By the way, their support plays for 100T Academy now. The former ASU. Breezy. Breezy is on 100T Academy.
That guy.
Yeah, he's a cat on that roof. Obviously one of the best top laners in collegiate by far. Like a grandmaster top laner. Hard carrying his team. They had Hayam Baiko. That guy was so good. Hayam Baiko is so good.
I remember watching his jungle and I was like, "What the heck is this? He's so good."
And Roos was so good. Everyone on the team just so impressive. Like
Roos and the champion Ocean.
Yeah,
I was just so like every time we lost to them, I wasn't even mad because it was just such a piece of art watching them play because they were so good and they had been together for like 2 years and they were so in sync and Baiko was just making plays everywhere. Roos is playing every champion under the sun, literally whatever he wants to.
I remember I remember it was Justin. I don't know if Albert was doing this, but Justin and I were talking about like the drafting because we were facing them. Yeah. And yeah, Roos just kind of stumped your brother.
Roos,
I remember looking at the sheet after Justin looked at it, and Justin wrote the sheet. He was like, "I don't know what to do with the mid," and I'm like, I looked at it. I was like, "Yeah, I couldn't tell you much either."
Guy plays everything.
I was like, I feel like he has a counter pick for everything. So I was like, you know what? I think we should just give up on the mid bans and just try something else.
And try to counter pick him last for a red side.
And we still got blown out of the water.
It wasn't even close.
Like from mid.
Except for the one time that Riot Dragon solo killed him, that was Poggers Woggers.
Yeah, that's because of Jason's.
Roos misplayed.
Yeah.
No, it's because Roos misplayed. But yeah, where were we? We went on a random tangent there.
Esports, UCLA Esports.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
how that happened.
Basically, they contacted you first, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. They contacted me, and I wasn't the one to kind of take it to them. I was starting to consider where we wanted to end up. So a lot of currently a lot of, like, for example, UCI, they're their own department. Esports does not belong in athletics. They're their own department in UCI. They draw their own budget. They pull in over $1 million a year revenue.
Wait, what the fuck?
I know, right?
That's
I was
insane.
surprised too. I was surprised. I don't know how it works. $250,000 of that is from their arena alone. Every year, $250,000 from the arena.
I guess that's from
The rest is donors and sponsorships.
Holy shit!
Yes, that's really impressive.
And so that's their budget. Their annual budget is massive, and they're their own department. They don't draw resources from anyone else. And I think a lot of people look at it that as like that shining example of like, this is what it could look like. You know, like this is what collegiate esports can be. This is the future.
We gotta start an OnlyFans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but UCI got their crap together. Now they're doing amazing, and I can confidently say, program wise themselves, they are probably the best. They're doing a lot of NASEF, a lot of high school focused stuff, which is great. And so consequently, I think their program has suffered a little bit, just on the college side, just because they're so into like empowering high schoolers and like educating them about what esports is and how to get into esports internships and jobs and futures. And I think that's really, really good. I just think that it's come at the cost of their college teams, like the support for their teams, because I mean, they hire students full time, man. Not full time, part time. A bunch of students are scholarship to work at UCI, to my knowledge, and like I feel like we do a better job producing content around our teams than they do, for sure, by far. And we are all volunteers.
Okay, but Chris is OP.
Chris Nishiwaki,
Yeah.
shout out to Chris Nishiwaki.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out, honestly,
there's
shout out
many
to
Chris's involved.
Shout out to all the people that make us look pretty.
Shout out to all the people that made all the current hosts of this stream irrelevant.
Yeah.
We're
also,
going into
like,
a new season of UCLA Esports, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
I think
us in our low budget production.
Yeah. I mean, I also want to take some time to like shout out all the women in UCLA Esports, because goddamn, you guys are killing it. We're so lucky to have women in UCLA Esports, because and I've had this told to me before many times. At EAF, a lot of girls are like nervous or don't feel welcome approaching our gaming table because it was all men. Like there was just a bunch of dudes there, and like it's just kind of unwelcoming, kind of just naturally. But with Ashley and Kathy and Nicole now stepping in, Lauren Shen stepping in, like these women who are just doing amazing things for Bruin Gaming and UCLA Esports. Like you guys are making it a safer space for women, and I think that really reflects in the community. And I think that like we're on a really good path at UCLA to kind of even out that ratio between women and men in gaming at UCLA. And I think that's so important. And I think all clubs and programs should aspire for that. So shout out to all the women, because like God, you guys are freaking doing great, and we would be nowhere without you guys.
Yeah,
definitely healthy.
The staff is like almost 50%, right? Like it's pretty even.
Our staff right now, we're looking at community-wise, I think we're at 60-40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
which is very impressive, honestly.
Actually insane.
People in the
and also shout out to Lily for hard carrying League Club for a good year or two.
Yep.
And like all the graphic design.
Yes, Lily's graphic design and amazing job she did with League of Legends Club.
Also for getting Sunny on the show because he was fucking getting groceries.
Yep, this is true. This is correct. This is why he worked.
I forgot the recording time. I was at Ralph's. And
it's okay, Sunny.
Phone and she was like, "Are you supposed to be in something right now?" And I was like, "What? No, I'm here to buy groceries." And then Lily was like, "Lawrence just called me," and I'm like, "Oh no."
Just for the record, I called you too.
You did call me too.
Sunny's phone was on mute or something.
My phone was on silent. I don't know why. I think I accidentally might have like hit the switch.
Carried by Lily.
Carried by Lily.
Carried by Lily.
Lily is quite honestly the best.
Yeah. Sort of speaking of how I think things have changed, though, like we've gone over like a huge like 6-year almost like timeline at this point of like Sunny's career and how we're kind of sometimes there, somewhat involved. Sometimes just a bit, Yeah, I think
the main character.
Yeah,
we're like the side characters in the show, and we're like combate.
Oh my god. I mean, again, like I cannot take all of the credit. Like I firmly, truly believe that if I hadn't done it, someone else would have. And I don't want to say that as like to pat myself on the back and be like, oh my god, you're the first. I'm just saying that because I think that gaming is just such an easy way to build something truly special at every university, because it's becoming more accepted in mainstream amongst parents, amongst kids. Fortnite is just massive, but even before Fortnite, people were just like League of Legends is becoming very mainstream. And it's cool to play video games. It's cool to like kind of like immerse yourselves in other worlds, artfully crafted by thousands of hours of human power. And I think that reflects in the community. It's just like people come together naturally over League of Legends, over Fallout 4, over Rocket League, Fortnite, Valorant. All these games are just like, you can find a friend so easily just because you both like Valorant, just because you both like League. And I think that's something that is special. And I think that it really shows in how like most universities have a gaming club. Some of them are massive. Like you can look at Texas University of Texas, Texas Tech. These clubs, like these guys, like they fill the like auditoriums with students who just love the community. Friggin' like UCSD, like they have a year. Rest in peace, not this year because of COVID, but a yearly event called Triton Gaming Expo. 1,400 people go to Triton Expo, like every year. 1,400 over 2 days. They basically take up. I visited UCSD a couple of years ago. They basically take up like 6 Ackerman ballrooms of space.
Wow.
And they fill that with 1,400 people. Like this is truly like the realms of possibility of a passionate gaming community that wants to do something really cool for the university. It's just like it's gonna happen. Like I didn't have to do it. That's just what I wanted to say. It's just like it was gonna happen eventually. And the fact that I had the privilege and honor of being the president who brought it to life is just something that I cherish every day, truly. And I look back and I smile fondly at all the memories that I've had traveling with the teams and staying up late at night to plan expansions, marketing, making sure Ashley was doing her job, Cole was doing his job, William was doing his job, and for the record, Ashley was the first editor we brought onto UCLA Esports. She came on as an editor to edit articles, and she was amazing. And she did her job.
You didn't have to make sure because I already did my job.
Yeah, no, you already did your job. It was great. Lawrence was a fantastic statistician.
Yes.
All I did was like push 4 other people out of the role, so my B.
No, honestly, like you did such a good job. We didn't need other people.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So kudos to you. You made
B.
the job so easy that we didn't actually need that many people. But no, it was great.
I accidentally automated everything.
No, but that's awesome. And honestly, like it's not like we kicked them. They still did it. Their job was a lot easier thanks to you. And so yeah, I mean, like honestly, just like shout outs to all the individual people that brought a bit of themselves to esports at UCLA and UCLA Esports. Because like
Sunny.
Like again, like I could have started, but like without people like you guys, like this is nothing. This is a shell.
I think you're selling yourself a little bit short because you're saying that maybe someone else could have done it, but going back to the very very beginning of the story, I think Rye, when she gave you the job of the sponsorship, she saw your destiny.
The potential is there.
Like you were like, why the fuck would she give me this job? No, it's because like fucking like the esports gods spoke to her and she was like, Sunny is going to cause the death of Augment.
Oh my god.
Out of these ashes shall arise something greater.
Destiny esports at UCLA and Bruin GG.
I'm having real trouble seeing that. Not because I don't think Rye was a god or anything, but
she's just a prophet.
She predicted it. She predicted it all.
Oh my god.
That's why we were here, you know. We're here to preach the gospel.
We're here to write the Gospels. This is the Gospels of Jason, Lawrence, and Albert.
True. Change the title already. Change the title.
The gospel of the former. That's
Gospels of the formers.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's been a ride, and it's been a blessing that I've been able to stay in the U.S. working for UCLA Recreation, continuing the growth of what I've built, along with all these wonderful people. Didn't get reported, always a bonus.
Didn't get deported. Mission success.
But yeah, no, it's been amazing, and honestly, I miss it. Truly, I miss running UCLA Esports. I miss being the director.
Yeah.
I miss organizing events. But I kind of look back on it and I go, well, now it's time for the next people to kind of take up the torch and do something truly amazing. And you're already seeing that. Like Bruin Gaming has already done 2 amazing online events. I think Summer Splash was amazing. I think the casting was amazing. Shout out to Lawrence and Albert. I think you guys did an amazing job on that tournament broadcast. Like keep in mind, like I was struggling to even broadcast their games because like I just didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to do Pack E because like literally like we had to hire. I say we had to, but like shout out to a lot of people to shout out. Shout out to Sam, Liam Conikers,
Clovis,
Jerem,
Timur.
Timur. I'm forgetting a couple. I know
Carrie casted. I don't know.
Kari. Superman did a couple of games, I think.
What percent of this recording do you think is just shoutouts?
Maybe
at least 20%.
But like honestly, it's because they deserve it, right? Like I don't know who's gonna listen to this, but the people have been a big part of the journey, you know. So all the people over at Mission Control TV / Space Productions, y'all are great. They just actually finished production of a PAX Valorant tournament.
I saw that.
Cloud9 beat Cloud9 lost to the Sentinels. But like these guys went from producing small college events. Now they're doing PAX. They're doing MomoCon. They're doing panels with like major people. Those guys are doing work. But yeah, I'm already seeing the fruits of labor of all the students who actually love and care about esports and gaming at UCLA. We have like 6 interns at UCLA Esports. God, we didn't have 6 staff in the first year.
Honestly,
6 interns alone at UCLA Esports this year, and we have 6 graphics designers. We were lucky to have 1 during esports at UCLA, and it was Anya.
There was
Anya
one.
Did everything.
There was 1.
And then when it was Lily, she was.
And then
she
Lily
was
came
split
in, and
between
Lily was doing everything. Yeah.
Esports and League Club.
Yeah. Lily came in and she was doing everything. We have 7 designers, 6 to 7 designers. A lot of them are Desma majors, which is really amazing. And we hope that we can offer them some kind of practical experience for what they're doing. Bunch of team managers, a lot of freshmen coming in, super passionate about what we're doing. Like the club is set up for success, and it's all thanks to the new people, you know, the people who took on the torch after me, because they don't have to worry about the things I worried about, you know, and they're kind of just building on the foundation, and it's amazing to watch, truly. And I can't wait to see they haven't announced it yet, but I can't wait to see what they're going to do in August, which is coming up soon.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is pretend we're still at the 3 years ago point in the story, but like as esports at UCLA was getting officiated and becoming UCLA Esports, like I know it happened. I know it was like a thing with you, Cole, and William, but like me, like especially, I would just have these moments of like, it's happening. Like
yes.
For a good couple of months.
I think walk out of that meeting room shaking.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Sonny didn't expect that he was. This is the real revelation. I think Sonny didn't expect that he was going to be inting on the C team to this, you know, the League of Legends team. For those that don't know, I do need to expose Sonny here. He did actually, I believe, play for one of our quote esports teams at UCLA a while back. But he was a
long
sketchy.
time ago. No, a long time ago, I was the mid laner. Back when I was Diamond 2, I was the mid laner for the JV team. I founded the JV team. This is like, oh my god, we're going way back in the history books. This is like second year UCLA 2014. I didn't make the team. I was salty, all right? Let's be honest. Sufan was better than me. You know, he was just that good. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to make a JV team. And we're going to play in CSL. And so I basically recruited a JV team from Facebook and Reddit. And yeah, it was mostly Facebook. And I put together a team that actually ended up being really good. Shoot, I can't even remember the IGNs anymore, a long time ago. Basically, it was myself in the mid lane. Our ADC was Strike, Mustafa Arsuala.
Oh yeah.
He ended up being a master tier 80 carry. But when he joined our team, he was a D4 Rager. Sorry, Mustafa. He was a D4, D5 Rager. Hard stuff.
Classic.
Like 1,000 games in D5. And I'm sorry, Mustafa. But that was who he was, you know? And then, like, literally, like, a year later, he climbed from D5 to Master Tier. And he actually ended up on a stream. I think he was scouted by Matt Alento. I don't know if Matt's still playing. He is. He's on an academy team somewhere. But at the time, Matt was doing a series of streams where he would duo and teach communication to a bunch of, like, 80 carries that he considered to be really good. And he actually picked up Mustafa from solo queue. And so he played a couple of games with Mustafa. And he was like basically just teaching him how to communicate well, basically trying to give him that nudge to go pro, or like how to take his game to the next level. So shout outs to Matt, because like no one else was doing that. So kudos to him. We had a bunch of supports, a lot of supports, but all of them were like Janna one tricks.
That sounds familiar.
All of them were like Janna one tricks.
Sounds like a certain co-host.
They were all
no comment.
For like they were all like D5 Janna one tricks. So we would never have any initiation from support, which really hurt us. We had a jungler named Arnav. He used to go by Lucid, and he was on that first team we talked about with Rockin' and Stunt that played against Team Coast. He was the jungler. What ended up happening was he got kicked from the UCLA A team because he was a Rager. And everyone on the team just didn't want to play with him.
So Sunny was on a team with Ragers.
No. And so he got kicked from the team. And then I reached out to him just because I was like, why not? Because we needed a jungler. Because our jungler was currently offlaning top lane while we had another jungler. But then the top laner left, so the jungler could go back to jungle, and then we would need another top laner. That didn't make any sense, but don't worry about it. And so
educator, by the way.
Yeah, so basically I DM'd Arnav, and I was like, yo, you want to play for the JV UCLA team? And I fully expected him to say no, by the way. And he said yes. And I was like, fuck. Like, this guy's like a master tier jungler. He's walking into a team with like a D2, a D2, a D3, and a D5. And I was like, a D2, a D2, a D5, and a D5 bot lane at that time. But Mustafa climbed really quickly that year. And I was like, fuck, he's going to rage at us so hard. Like, this is going to be awful. Like, what have I done? But he was really nice. I think he was trying to, get rid of that toxic persona. And let's be honest, most solo queue players are toxic as fuck in NA. High elo. Right. And we learned a lot from him. He was really, really fucking good. And our team was really good, I think. Our team ended up being really, really good. And then we got stopped. This is a funny story. Maryville at that time, this is like 2014, 2015, had to play in CSL. They could not play in ULL because Riot discovered that their 80 carry prototype was taking online classes, which didn't qualify him for the team. But then he played on the team anyway. And so they actually disqualified Maryville from ULL that year. And so Maryville was like, okay then, and then they played in CSL, which fucked everybody up, because at that time they were already really good. They had a Cat God in the mid lane. Cat God ended up being jungle and won collegiate a couple of years later. Just let for all the history buffs out there, Cat God was the mid lane at the time. They had Saskio, who was a top laner at the time. Basically an all challenger team.
Saskio, the fucking Yumi.
Yeah, Saskio is a Draven Yumi player who duoed to platinum playing
himself.
Yumi with his foot. Yeah, with his foot. So basically, he dueled with himself the platinum, and he got a bunch of Reddit fame for it. So that was Sasuke. They had like an AD carry who was really good. A support, I can't even remember his name. They had a Chody Walrus in the jungle. He ended up changing his name to Walrus because, Chody Walrus doesn't fly with a lot of people. And guess who we meet in the first round of CSL playoffs? Friggin' Maryville University. And so that was fun. We looked at Cat God's history, and my coach at the time, Michael Lee, and Moray, he looked at it and he was like, no, I looked at it and I was like, I don't think Cat God played Zed. At the time, Zed was really strong. I was like, I've never seen him play in solo queue. I've never seen him play in any collegiate games. I don't think he plays Zed.
I can already see where this is going.
And so our team was like, all right, we're picking Azir. So I lock in Azir, and Cat God locks in Zed. Cat God locks in Zed, and then I proceed to 0-3-0 in lane because Cat God's challenger, and he actually does play Zed on another account or something like that. I don't know. Or I was just that bad. I can't tell. But regardless, Cat God proceeds to absolutely destroy me in the first game. And we lose 0-2. No surprises. Like their top laner was like solo killing our top laner at like fucking 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Arnav was getting invaded 24/7. He couldn't do anything. It was rough. It was really hard. But yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, I think the team broke up that year after that because we were just moving on, doing other stuff with our lives. But yeah, no, that was a really fun time. That was my competitive collegiate experience at UCLA.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring that to other people, and that's the story of
now Sunny's out in my normal games, running it
and
down
now I'm
Teemo mids.
And now I'm really bad.
Yeah, like
I am so bad right now. I just don't play the game as much.
Hard stuck plat, ran it down against Teemo mids.
Yes.
Versus getting blasted by challengers, I think it's a bit of a downgrade. Not gonna lie.
It's a downgrade for sure. It was I had a really funny story though. I don't know if you guys have heard of a player named Popper's OP. Popper's OP. You guys know who Popper's OP is?
No.
He was like a challenger mid laner. I don't know. He's dropped out of the scene a long time ago. But at one point he was a challenger mid laner. I was playing with one of my other teams with my friends in rank 5s at like 2 a.m. We were just practicing for a tournament. And we run into Popper's OP and X-Sojin. X-Sojin's currently the head coach of CLG Academy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
And he was also a former pro player. So we run into X-Sojin and Popper's OP in rank 5s, which is always fun. And he has a team of, I think Jinte was on that team too. Can't remember. But basically a bunch of like former pro, amateur pro players. I think they were practicing for, not scouting grounds, but maybe for rank 5's ladder. For back at the time you could qualify for LCS through expansion tournament. And so we ran into them. That was fun. My support, it was just a team of friends, not my other JV team. But I was playing on a team with Daphne. But Daphne knew X-Sojin, so that was fun. X-Sojin proceeds to camp the shit out of our bot lane on Rek'Sai. He's just going bot 24/7, destroying my bot lane. But at the time, I was a really good Anivia player, and Poppers picked Vladimir into me. I solo killed Poppers twice in lane. Straight solo killed him at level 4 and level 7. And then we lost.
You can tell that this is like what Sonny perceives as like the pinnacle of his career.
Absolute pinnacle of my career.
He specifically remembers that he kills them at level 4 and 7.
Yes. Well, I would just have a memory like that sometimes. At level 4, back in Anivia, this was pre-rework Anivia, where her R was like instantly applied her passive. And so
it didn't do the weird growing thing.
Yeah. I basically back then on Anivia, I would not take wall until level 7. So I would.
Isn't it 8?
8?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But basically, I would
level
max
7
E.
you go the 4th level of E.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah.
I still come to level 5. Sorry, at level 5, not 4. Level 5, because that's when I had 3 points in E, and 1 in Q. And then I hit him with a Q, hit him with the E with the ignite, and auto him to death. And that was freaking great. And then at level 7, I surprised him with the ER ignite combo with the wall. And yeah, probably the pinnacle of my career. Not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever reached heights since then. I was like a D2 player at the time. D2 Anivia Oriana player. So good times in my history.
Meta slave. Now he's a meta slave.
And now I'm a meta slave. Yeah, I don't know what to play anymore.
Meta slave, but you're also losing to Teemo mid. So
Yeah,
I think
it's because Teemo mid's not meta. So like, how are you supposed to counter that?
You can't play against it anymore.
Yeah, I just don't know.
There's no matchup
know
knowledge there.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Pantheon's supposed to destroy Teemo, but I was destroyed. I was playing.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the greatest trajectory to like summarize this entire story. Is Sunny goes from going from struggling through Augment and then being on a huge, pretty successful JV team to now struggling against Teemo mids and Norms
and gold Teemos
and being gold Teemos and only being vaguely, not even officially UCLA Esports president, just the founder.
Reminiscing about the old days.
Yeah.
And I guess for the record, I currently work at UCLA as an esports engagement coordinator at UCLA. So what that means is my job is to continue the growth of esports at UCLA in any way that I can. I'm initiating partnerships. I'm initiating projects that engage students. So
basically, making money playing video games.
Yes.
University.
Yeah, playing video games every day. It's pretty good.
No, I wouldn't say I don't play video games.
It's making money facilitating other people playing video games.
Yes, exactly.
Close enough.
Exactly. So I was I worked the IM intramurals was a project that I was assigned, which is great. Matching partnerships with some of the people that we work with. So that's Razer, that's MSI, and that's DX Racer, which is great. Those guys are awesome. Shout outs to those 3 companies for supporting UCLA Esports, official partners, by the way. And yeah, just in general, identify ways that we can engage students at UCLA and make gaming the thing that we think it can be at UCLA.
I think after listening to Sunny for like the past hour or so, I figured out where my profound affinity towards shilling comes from.
It's definitely from Sunny.
Nothing wrong with shilling for people who deserve it.
Honestly, Jason, do you want to shill one last time for Sunny? So we can give Sunny a great shout out here, Jason.
Yeah, give me a fucking sponsorship for you guys. Yeah, I want payment for my past 3 years of work. No, but Sunny, I think has done a very, very good job with UCLA Esports. I think his greatest quality, I think, is his stubbornness. It's also one of his greatest downfalls. Let's not talk about that.
Wait, what are you? Wait. No, let us talk about that. What are you talking about?
You want to go into that?
I think that's another episode, Sunny. That's definitely another episode.
Oh,
we can fill an episode with that content.
All right, we'll talk about it later then. Sure.
We can talk about it after the episode. We don't want to air out too much dirty laundry in
the public.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, it's been an hour and a half. I think we can end it there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to edit the shit out of this one.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunny, for coming on. Giving us an entire backstory, sort of showcasing how we're slightly relevant and how Sunny has helped, and a bit of insight into collegiate esports in general and how it's changed. Yep.
Yeah, it's great. Made our jobs a lot easier just by having you monologue for 90% of the time.
Yeah, I talked a lot.
No,
all good.
Fine. It's what the people want to hear. They want to hear the prophet. They don't want to hear about St. John. They don't want to hear about Peter. They want to hear from Jesus. And that's what the people want.
Jesus.
That is true. And I think that's a great way to end our show with that. So thanks all for watching or listening, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for having me on the very first one. What an honor it was, and I hope this ends up where you want it to be. Did we get any final shout-outs? Did we get any final shout-outs before we end?
More shilling?
Yeah.
I'll show Bruin GG. Thank you to Bruin GG for sort of hosting this. I mean, I am the internal vice president, but that's not related. Thank you.
Not if you dab. Not if you dab.
This is true. Okay, we're ending the show there. That's it. Get Craig out of here. It's over.
All right, let's fucking kick Craig out of here.